welcome back to the Gamerpreneur podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bradford Carlton. In today's episode, I'm going to tell you to rejoice in your recklessness. So I had my wife tell me I was being reckless the other day. And it was interesting because I did not think I was being reckless. I thought I was being probably risky. I'll give you risky, but not reckless, because I had spent time studying and researching and looking into the thing that I was going to be doing. I'd asked for people's opinions. I'd looked around. I'd seen other examples. I'd looked at competitors. And by and large, I was doing what I should have been doing. Sure, I was taking a little bit of a risk, and I'm not going to tell you too much about what I was doing, but that's a different video. I was interested in making a move in a direction that I thought was going to be good for the brand, and she disagreed. Now, I don't know if you all know this, but my wife is the one who runs the business, okay? So I'm the personality, and she's the one who does the back end stuff, make sure that our employees are all happy, make sure that everything is all set up, make sure that, connections are made, and she schedules a lot of my stuff for me. So she tells me what to do, and I go, yes, dear. So it's a wonderful relationship. I absolutely recommend this for anybody out there. Everybody needs to understand that your spouse is an integral part of your life and your business. So I love my wife. She's a fantastic business person. I'm not being serious about that. Okay. However, what I'm trying to tell you is her point that I was being reckless. It got me thinking that, you know what? I like it. I like being risky. I like being a little bit reckless, because if you look out at the masses of people out there on this planet, the vast majority of them are not. They are not taking risks. They are not putting themselves in uncomfortable situations. They are not making mistakes. I remember my magic school bus, right? Miss Fresno would always go around saying, make mistakes, take chances, get messy. Well, guess what? That's how I live my life. And that's how you do business. That's how you try new things in this world and get better at things. Hey, if you want to go into a completely new career field, which you could at any moment, I've done it a couple times. You can do it. You just make a decision that you're not going to do what you're currently doing anymore, decide on a new thing, and then you just go and start studying. You study until you think you know enough. And then you start trying to help people, and you're going to realize you don't know anything. And then you'll start to learn more stuff, and people start to pay you. And then before you know it, you're really good, and people are really paying you for this. And you're like, man, I'm an imposter. I haven't been doing this long. And that wonderful imposter syndrome comes on. And I think I saw a study not too long ago, a week ago. Don't quote me on this, but something like 60 to 70% of professionals have imposter syndrome. I'm like, wow, that seems really low. Because, so many people, especially when you're first starting out, right? When you're first starting out, you don't know what you're doing. All right, let's be real here. If you have not done the thing that you're trying to do right now, you don't know how to do it. You might know the contours of it. You might know kind of the broad strokes of, the various actions that need taken, but the actual nitty gritty, you're in the water for the first time. How do you swim? Splash, right? You try to figure it out. So many people get all hung up that they think they need to be perfect. And this expression drove me nuts when I was in various nonprofits. But don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Figure out how to do the best you can right now, and then learn from what didn't go right. Figure out how to grow from where you are. And as you grow, you're going to get better. And you're going to get better. And you're going to help more people. You're going to help different people. You're going to do bigger projects. You're going to grow your business. And before you know it, you're going to be like, man, I don't know how I'm working with people like this. All right. If you guys understood, I'm not announcing stuff yet. I don't have permission to announce stuff yet. But the reason I'm only doing the 2 days a week is because I got a client through the Gamerpreneur that is doing some really big things, and some incredible people are going to be at what we're doing, and high-end celebrities and influencer kind of stuff. And I'm like, wow. How did that happen? I did an interview, and several months later, a guy invited me to work with him. Guys, in a year and a half, I started the Gamerpreneur. My very first episode started on my phone, wasn't even on video. I just recorded it on my phone. It released on October 25th, 2019. My first real episode of the Gamerpreneur didn't come out until mid-November. Okay, so with the camera, and it was in that room over there with a nasty looking couch behind it. So I've only been doing this for a little over a year and a half, almost 2 years now. And in that time, I've had multiple job offers. I've had multiple people offered me to be on boards. I've signed numerous NDAs. I wish I hadn't. And this one time, one person who I don't even remember how I met him online. Like, it was just on LinkedIn. I probably reached out and got chatting, and next thing I know, he's on my show, and I figured I was not really going to communicate with him too much, but he remembered me. He remembered my backstory and what I did, and he reached out to me, and he was able to enter into a business relationship with me that's going to turn out very well for this brand. This brand is going to go places, and you're all watching me do it. I'm so happy for you all, because I really want you to know, like, I don't have, like, the money I have in here is basically irrelevant, guys. Like, this is more or less been just me on my free time making content. These podcasts, I had a ton of wonderful guests. I've had so much fun interviewing these guests. On the other hand, I've also had a ton of guests that I just didn't want to talk to. You couldn't tell because I had a smile on my face the whole time. But like, this hasn't been a joy the whole time. It's been a little bit of a job. And I put in a little bit of effort. And it took almost 2 years for it to pay out in a big way. Some people have been making content for 10 years, 8+ years, right? And they haven't gotten anywhere close to where they want to be. Maybe, just maybe, being a little bit reckless, maybe being a little bit confident in yourself, or overly confident in yourself and your abilities, and letting people know that you have abilities that they may not recognize that you have, is the key to growing, okay? How did I get a person interested in even learning about me and what my background was? I reached out. I have this show, and I'm like, hey guys, I need people to be guests on my show. And I was doing 3 interviews a week. 3 interviews a week is a lot of interviews. That's a lot of content. Like, 5 live episodes a week is a lot. It's not, I mean, it's live as I'm doing this. It's a raw cut, right? But think of how many people that I had to talk to that were not on my show. I've talked to a ton of people who did not end up being on my show. I've had people I would get on a call with, and they'd be like, yeah, I'll be on your show. And then I send them my scheduling link. They schedule a time, and I'm sitting here ready to like do the interview, and they don't show up. And like, oh, hey guy, you missed. And then they'll get back to me. Oh, sorry, let's reschedule. And then they never do. Like, I would say maybe 50% of all of the people who said who they would be on my show did not end up on my show. If every single person had come on that told me they would, I'd have had interviews stretching well into next year. Like, seriously, so many phone calls, so many people around the world that I was able to meet and develop relationships with by having a podcast. Okay. Like, no, seriously, pay attention to this. Like, you can do the same thing. You can do the same thing. And all you got to do is pick what kind of field you want to go into, decide what you want to do, and then find some way to give yourself some credentials. That way you have some credentials in the field, make yourself sound a little bit important. And as people get to know you and learn about your life story and what you're about, they're going to go, well, this person's a genuine person. I really like him, her, or they, right? I really like this person. And therefore they're going to remember you. And maybe some opportunity is going to come up and they're going to reach back out to you. Like, I'm in the process of building out my Discord community. And what I've found is, I'm reaching out to all my past guests, asking them to be in the Discord. People that I was like, I don't think this person would actually show up. Like, I remember this person, I know this person, I liked this person, but I don't think they'd actually show up. They're all showing up, and people are engaging in my community. I love it. And it's amazing to see people who are like true fans, true regulars, the ones who are on and commenting and engaging with me on everything that they have. And I love the fact that, like, this happened to me. And it's probably going a little slower than I wish it to. I wish I had a little bit more money coming in order to up my ad content, but it's going better than so many other people. I think I'm at like 100 and roughly 60,000 followers on Facebook alone, right? And I get, I get decent reach every day or every week. I get something like 200,000 plus reach every week. It's not as much as it had been last year in July and August. I was doing 2 million post reach a month, but I was also doing about double the ad spend I was on content. So I've actually pulled it back. I've been focusing my ad dollars in different places for different reasons. And I guess I want to come back to my point of, you need to rejoice in your recklessness, in that this brand was kind of like, let's just go for it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I had a plan. It was a rough sketch at first, and then it slowly developed. But when I first started, I just went for it. And my wife was like, we'll see how long it lasts. And I'm still going. It's almost 2 years later. But many of my business ventures started that way. Like, you have a napkin, you write out some ideas with a buddy. You're like, hey, you want to go into business? And you're like, this sounds fantastic. Yeah, let's go into business. And so you start doing the research, start filing for things, start getting the email address and the domain, and you get all these things together. And before you know it, you're in a business and you got to start running. So that's what I'm talking about, being reckless. Okay. If you take too long, if you're too meticulous, then you're never going to start. I have a saying, right? Done, not pretty. Just get it done. Figure out how to get it done however you have to, and then worry about the second iteration, third iteration, fourth iteration. Just understand that you're able to accomplish whatever it is, and then figure out how to sell and market it. Okay. Now, at the same time, I'm also going to tell you, think about the marketing first. Like, think of the marketing first, but be able to make the thing that you're going to do. Okay. So if you're going to write a book, consider starting to write the book to make sure you can. Okay. I'm not saying you have to finish the book. You can start selling the book before it's even done. Plenty of people do it. It's called a pre-order, right? Maybe you've pre-ordered a game before, huh? Yeah. Same thing. So understand that sometimes you have to make a move before you think you're ready and before anybody else thinks you're ready. All those pre-orders we were just talking about, the games, the books, DVDs, whatever, they're selling you something that's not done. It's a little bit reckless, because if they end up falling through and not making the thing, they're in trouble. They sold something that they're not supposed to have sold yet. Okay. Understand that it's okay to put yourself into positions that people are like, man, that's a little risky. Are you sure you're going to be able to do this? Yeah, because you're going to be able to. I believe in you. I don't even know who you are listening to this. I believe you and believe in you that you can make your dreams come true, so long as you believe that failure would never overtake you, so long as your determination is strong enough. You can do it. So that's what I got for you all today. I'm going to remind you all, organization is the enemy of sloth. What happens often when I'm coaching with someone, they'll get a great idea. And like, I'll listen to this idea and I'll be like, man, that's kind of crazy. Are you sure you want to do that? In my head, I won't say that out loud. I'll usually say, that sounds great. Do it. And how are you going to do it? I'll ask some questions. And I'll get some ideas from people and I'll be like, wow, that idea is nuts. But instead of discouraging them, I'll encourage them and like, how are you intend to do it? Yes, that's a great way to make money. How are you going to do it? Have a plan. As you come up with these ideas, as you have something that you're like, man, that's a little risky, create an action plan. Don't just wing it. Nobody just gives us speech. Everybody has talking points that they know off the top of the head, the things they need to mention, or maybe they have a speech prepared, right? You may be thinking, oh, well, I get my speeches, just off the cuff. Well, you're obviously not a professional speaker, because professional speakers have their thing memorized. They know exactly what they're going to talk about. Maybe they throw in some things here and there, but they kind of have the tracks laid for this. They know where they're going. Understand, you as well, if you want to help get convinced, or you want to convince anybody to get on board with you, if you want your spouse or your family to not be on your case about this radical, crazy, reckless thing that you're doing and changing your life, have a plan. Show them, no, look, this is what I'm going to do. This is how it's going to work. This is where we're going to go. This is how we're going to do it. And that will help ease their fears that you're just going off and you've gone crazy. No, you're being meticulous. You're thinking about this. And that action plan will give you a roadmap to be able to work off. That way, you know that you're on track. And as you're going, your roadmap will get developed and you'll be able to create a strategy that you could then show other people how to do in the future once you've succeeded, which is a saleable product, a saleable service, right? You can do consulting. So understand The more organized you are, the more you're setting yourself up for future success, even if you may be acting reckless now. So that's what I got for you. Don't be just a gamer, be a gamerpreneur.